Hey guys, what's up? It's Solo. Just before the video starts, I'm gonna show this like AI art that I put into a prompt and got like some cool armor designs. I'm gonna be putting one before each video, so then you guys can look at it and just see how cool some of these came out. So yeah, let me introduce you guys to what the video is going to be about today. So if you guys didn't get it from the hint of yesterday's video, we are going to be talking about Anna Bray. Now, there's a specific reason I want to talk about Anna Bray, and it has to do with the book, the lore book that you can get in game that came with Beyond Light, which was The Dark Future, which is where Elsie Bray recounts what was happening at the time before she came into this timeline from the dark timeline. And it goes through a lot of things. We're going to be talking about the similarities, the differences, and what I think this is going to be happening moving forward as we go into Lightfall. So stay tuned. This is going to be the Anna Bray theory. Alright, so let's get into this first part, which is going to be talking about the Dark Timeline. So the Dark Timeline, if you guys don't know, Elsie Bray is from the Dark Timeline, where the darkness has completely won. And what we mean by this is the darkness actually took over Guardians and Eris Morn, and Savathun never reverts to the light, so she never becomes, the Lucent Hive Queen. So at this point, everything is just darkness. The Darkness Guardians are overpowered. The light is gone. The Traveler fled when the darkness attacked, and a bunch of different people, Callus and Aramis, came out and also attacked the last city, and a bunch of people are dead. And a bunch of people are still surviving. Zavala's somehow still there. Anna and Elsie Bray are still there. And Marasov's still there. But the thing is the reason why they call this the Darkness Timeline is because no matter what they did, there is no saving it. Because at the end of the story, and I'll just tell you guys, if you guys haven't gone and read it, it's kind of an interesting story. But basically, the end of the story is that they launch this final assault from the Leviathan with the Traveler attached to it. Zavala gets like super overcharged by the Traveler, and then all of a sudden, Marasov gets killed by Anna. Anna gets killed by Elise Bray. Zavala, I believe, also gets killed. And yeah, and then as Elise Bray sees Eris Morn basically destroy the Traveler, infect the Traveler, I should say, that's when she flips to Destiny 2's story, where they're all gathered around and in the middle of the last city talking with Zavala, Ikora, and Cade 6. Now, that's where the Darkness Timeline stops. So let's talk about next the similarities between the two. Alright, so we're going to go into the differences between, or not the differences, the similarities, my bad, between the Darkness Timeline and the current one we're in. So firstly is Anna Bray has Rasputin in a data storage, whereas in the story it's a flash drive. In this timeline, it's a engram that she has him in, and she's trying to get him into an exo body. So that's a similarity from the story. And then the line, a side must always be chosen, even if it's the wrong side. If you guys don't know, when they did the, I believe it was Pass's prologue.
A side should always be taken, even if it's the wrong side.
Trailer, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a clip of it, but basically the Pass's prologue trailer, Elsie Bray and a bunch of other people are talking, and she says a side must always be chosen even if it's the wrong side, and that's exactly when Lightfall comes up. So I'm pretty sure she's probably going to say that, and I believe she has said it. The next similarity is Eris finding stasis on the moon via the pyramid, although that's a little bit different. We'll talk about that into the next one. Another similarity is that the Almighty has already crashed on Earth and is broken down, and that's where we see Zavala in the Dark Timeline. So yeah, and another similarity is that they do not mention Cade 6 whatsoever, even though this timeline had nothing to do with Forsaken, and which I'm guessing in both timelines Forsaken does happen because Aldrin is nowhere to be found in either timeline after the fact, and neither is Cade 6. So that would be another similarity. But other than that, the only other similarity is Elsie Bray, which is, of course, she's the Exo Stranger who was in Destiny 1 that had us go after the Black Heart, the Black Garden, to silence the Darkness Heart, and then we have her now in Beyond Light teaching us how to wield stasis, and yeah, it's interesting. So let's go into the big differences about this timeline. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys the differences between this timeline and the Darkness one. So firstly, when the Darkness or Stasis subclass was found on the moon, Eris wasn't just the only one there. As we know, Elsie Bray and the Drifter were both there as well, and they were both there to kind of help Eris not do what she does in the Darkness timeline, which is betray all of us, as far as we know, of course, because from what we can tell, the events of what happens, some of them have yet to come across, which is fair enough, and we probably won't see some of them happen until Lightfall and the final shape. But as far as we know, Eris is still on our side. Another thing that has changed is Savathun has gotten the light, and of course we kill her with the light, but she did get the light and found out that the Darkness had betrayed her in the beginning, so she is less likely to take the Darkness again, because they did lie to her at the beginning of her story. So yeah, that's another thing. Aramis, I believe, the one thing we did different in this timeline is that we froze Aramis, because I don't think Aramis gets frozen in the Dark Timeline, or at least it doesn't mention it. So she's still frozen at the point of me recording this. Aramis is still frozen. If you're watching this way down the line where Aramis is unfrozen and a bunch of stuff happens, I don't know about it. I'm recording this in 2022, so we haven't seen anything with Aramis yet. Another thing is that there's quite a lot of people that are dead in this Darkness timeline. Ikora Ray died. The Drifter is dead. A lot of people from the tower are dead. Like, it's just not good. And of course, in this timeline, Anna Bray dies at the end of the story to Elsie Bray after Elsie realizes that her, like, spacing between her and Anna has basically ruined Anna to the point of her going and wanting the Darkness. And that's another thing that she's trying to change in this timeline. As we saw with Beyond Light, she had a lot of heart-to-heart moments with Anna Bray. Although, be it that Elsie Bray from each timeline, I think is the same, because she just says that she's repeating a loop every time, and she, I'm guessing, is going from timeline to timeline. But she's trying her hardest not to have what happens in the original timeline, which is basically that the Darkness is won. Zavala is definitely, like, he dies, I'm pretty sure, at the end. But he's mangled, has a beard when they find him, and it's just, it's interesting to see, at least. And another thing is that the Vex, Eris Morn traps the Vex in time, which is something that nobody's been able to actually do. Because if you don't know, the Vex have, like, multiple ways of getting in and out of time, regardless of where they go. It's just a thing of the fact that Eris became so powerful that she could stop the Vex is another thing that we may talk about in a different video, because now I really want to make an Eris Morn theory, about like the whole dark timeline. But at this point, if we do make it, it'll be speculation, because a lot of the things that led Eris Morn to betray the Vanguard and the city haven't actually happened, because like I said, Elsie Bray and the Drifter were there for her to get stasis, and Elsie Bray has been teaching people not to go like darkness mode, or become Dark Guardians, I should say, which are controlled, I'm guessing, by the Witness. And we may still see that event happen, but not right now. As it stands right now, a lot of Guardians are just here. They don't have like light and darkness. They're like a mixture of both. But yeah, no, and it's weird to see like the Deepstone Crypt. We have it secured right now, with the raid being in there, and we stop people from getting into it. And in that timeline, it's like destroyed and like not there, and that's actually where they find Drifter trying to put himself into an Exo, which I thought was sad, because I love the Drifter. He's one of my favorite characters. But yeah, let's get on to why this might protrude into this timeline, and why Anna Bray might be the reason why it comes to fruition. Alright, so we talked about the similarities and the differences between the book, The Dark Future, and the current timeline, which honestly, there's not that many similarities right now, just because of how things have played out with the Witch Queen and also the seasons following, including with how the Leviathans played out and how Callus has played out. Now, Callus, actually, I should have put this on the similarities, but Callus is a part of the Witness, which we already knew in the Dark Saga as well. He is a part of the Witness's faction. As far as Aramis, like I said, she is frozen, but this all points again to Anna Bray, and more than likely Rasputin. And what I mean by this is that Rasputin, I feel like, is going to be recruited either as a disciple or as a machine to go against humanity. The reason why is because when you're reborn into an Exo, you don't remember anything, and that's like the biggest thing, is you do not remember usually anything when you're born into an Exo. And that's the key point here, is if he doesn't remember anything and like he joins the darkness, he's gonna do what Savathun did and remember all of the memories that he used to have as a war mind. And with the war mind being a thing, he'll find a way to basically flip it on the Guardians and everybody else, and that could bring about the second collapse as well, because you figure all them, like all the stuff that we had to take down the Almighty, if that's turned on the last city, like the last city's gone. Like there is no saving that unless you magically disarm Rasputin, or make it so then he can't get to like a terminal, but still, that's a very slim chance. And how this could affect Anna Bray is the fact that she could still turn evil. And what I mean by this is, even now she's very stubborn, and that stubbornness has always led to a rift between her and her sister. Although we've seen things to counteract this, I feel like there's going to be a moment where they get heated, and then Anna Bray's just going to storm off and not want to talk to her sister ever again, and maybe even defect into the darkness. Because, like, yeah, she thinks the light does good for people, but also she's also naive enough to see that the darkness could help her as well. With all this empty feeling and everything else. But right now she's focused on Rasputin. And that's, I think, what I'm going to put into my theory for Season 18 is the whole Rasputin thing and Aramis. But we'll get to that probably either, if they do, because there's supposed to be an epilogue for Season 17 from what I heard. It's either going to be this coming week. So when I'm recording this, it should be the day after this goes live, or it should be the week after this, a day and a week after this goes live. But no, I feel like we're still seeing signs that Anna Bray is kind of trying to find like stuff to figure out everything, and like figure out how to get out of everything with the darkness and things like that. I feel like she's going to turn around and be like, oh, why don't we just accept the darkness, and then we don't have to worry about it. We can just be under the darkness. And it's just going to be like, no. But yeah, no, it was interesting to go back through the Dark Future lore book. If you guys haven't read that lore book, it's pretty good, and the similarities between this timeline and that one are actually pretty apparent when you read through it. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, hit the like button, comment down below. How do you think Lightfall is going to start? I'm going to say Lightfall is going to start with Callus showing up and basically just destroying the tower. That's how I'm going to say it's going to start. But anyway, guys, don't forget to subscribe, turn on post notifications, or else my Titan, who looks like a crab, is coming after you. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a good day and a good week. I've been Solo. I'll see you guys later.